Hey, everybody. You're getting me live a couple times today. I am Julie Murphy, and I am the author of the book, Awaken Your Wealth, as well as The Emotion Behind Money, because this is about how do we build our lives from the inside out. And I have asked Mark Murphy and Stephen Cherry to join me from my office at my wealth management firm because we see a lot of patterns and a lot of things that get people jammed up around this holiday season in terms of their spending. So I wanted for us to just have a discussion of kind of show you guys and talk about some of the things that really get people jammed up at this time of year, which take us out of our personal empowerment. And what we've noticed is that a lot of people feel like, oh, I can't deal with a financial planner because I don't make enough money. I don't have enough money. We have all this judgment around it. And what we've come to learn, it really doesn't matter how many zeros you have and how much income you have or how much assets you have. This is about financial patterning for people. And it's time for us all to awaken our wealth, which means like get in alignment with your heart and soul and stop acting out our patterns, our projections, our emotional patterns from our childhoods, and that create all this suffering because we see these spending hangovers that happen every January. You get that credit card bill in the mail and you're like, oh, but Jesus, they didn't even really like that gift that much, but I bought it. Now it's on my credit card and now I'm probably going to be paying some interest on it. And so Mark and Stephen, thanks for joining me here. I would love to hear one of you guys, what is one of the things that you guys see? I mean, certainly I could talk till I'm blue in the face, clearly. But what are some of the things that you guys see on the inside and dealing with your clients out there in the world?
Yeah, happy to take this one, Julie. Appreciate it. So how to avoid a spending hangover? I think just avoiding the biases that lead to too much spending in the first place.
Like what?
That might mean, subscribing to too much media. I think in every aspect of our lives, too much media can be an unhealthy thing, but especially with the comparison factor. I mean, it can be really detrimental instead of, comparing ourselves, just being happy, being around our families and just being true to ourselves.
Yeah, I know being one of 12 children, or Mark and I being two of 12 children, because we're siblings, we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. So like we would show up to people's birthday parties and us actually just showing up was your gift. And then you get out in the world and you're like, all these people get pissed off at you that you show up to a party without a gift. And you're like, well, we just kind of showed up and that's what the gift was. And we didn't really realize that we were doing something wrong according to society, because to me and Mark, it was about just showing up for people in their lives. And it wasn't about the materialistic stuff because we didn't have the money to have it be the materialistic stuff. It was about the time being spent, that was the gift. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's so easy. Like, I know I got to tell you, like this whole coronavirus thing has made it so that, Facebook is really doing a good job in terms of getting companies to now sell their products on Facebook, that it pops up right in your news streams, right? And I'm like, oh, wow. I literally just looked in my closet the other day and I've got like 10 shirts that over the last 10 months that I've ordered that I haven't put on once. And I was like, because they don't really actually look the same when you get them at home than they did really on that ad on Facebook. And it's like, right. Oh, and then you never return them, right?
Right.
I don't know. Mark, how about you? What have you seen out there?
Well, I think a lot of it is setting your intention. So think of January now. Think of all the spending you've done this year. I've got a lot of clients that are just looking at where they're at and taking inventory of their own personal situations over the course of the year, especially in light of the environment and what this has done with most of us with regards to income and other things. So really lifting the hood now and understanding what your number is, and don't try to avoid the emotional spending. And then, like you said, show up in ways that are untraditional to you, or how can you show up differently with your spending or with your time and feed your soul in those ways. So I think that's important. So take inventory now, and the end of the year is a good time to clean the slate and and really start off on a solid foot, as opposed to, you know, backing into that and having that spending hangover. So set your foundation now for next year and knowing what this year was.
You know, back in the day, you know, if you talk to anyone who's our parents' ages, so people who are in their 60s and 70s and 80s right now, what they always remember are Christmas clubs. Remember? Holiday clubs. And they were these clubs, and all it was somebody taking your money out of every one of your paychecks, making interest on your money. But what they did is they collected a bucket of cash, say, so over 26 pay periods, you built up $1,000, and then right before the holiday, they'd give you your $1,000, and then you had cash to actually go and spend it for the holidays. And for years, one of the things I've been doing is I have clients decide, you know what? Why don't we decide I'm going to spend, you know, again, I have 11 brothers and sisters. There's 34 nieces and nephews. There are a lot of us. And so I decided I put $300 a month, $150 a paycheck into a savings account that I started in January one year. And then I have the cash. Do you know how much more fun it is to go shopping for the holidays when you have cash?
And how much more you honor your limit.
Well, that's the piece that I would love to get to, because cash is king. There is not an emotional connection when you slide the credit card across. Like, we do not internalize. But if you were to go to the store and hand over 10 $100 bills for that flat screen TV, guess what? You're going to pick a different TV, because you're going to really weigh out what attributes you really truly want. But you know, when you're sliding that credit card, you'll do a $1,500 TV and then figure out later, well, but it was 0% interest. Yes. But we have to understand that when we create debt in our lives, it gives us a lack of freedom. And I don't care if it's good debt or bad debt, house debt, car debt, student loan debt. Debt is debt, and it's a lack of freedom, because you have to live in the present moment and pay for all of your past choices. It's like a trap that keeps us on the treadmill of life, right?
Yeah, Julie, to your point, I think setting a spending budget and sticking to it is key here. Some people will literally use cash during the holidays, and it's really empowering. Just knowing how much you can spend will help you determine, you know, what you can buy and what you can't, kind of like Mark said as well.
Well, and I'll also say that, how many times have we seen that when we say the word budget to people, their whole demeanor changes? Mm-hmm. It's like, budget? Are you talking to me? Like, I don't want a budget. Like, because what does a budget do? It tells people that they can't have something, right? No, you're bad. You're on a budget. And so I would even tell people, like, to change some of that verbiage, right? Don't call it a budget. Just say, because when you say a budget, it's almost like you go to a place of scarcity and you're not being abundant. It's like, no. I am choosing to spend this because of these reasons for my life, not for other people. Because then you're coming from a place of empowerment as opposed to as a victim, right? And so be cautious as you're going through this holiday season of going, what keeps you in that place of empowerment? What keeps you in that place of saying, no, this is what I choose because this is what I want for my life? Because usually after you do the spending, it usually doesn't give you that happy ending that you're looking for.
Right.
Because why? You haven't dealt with whatever is underlying, causing you to emotionally satisfy yourself by spending. Like, you feel like you're not enough, so you're going to buy that person that extra special present. You know what? They should show up in your life whether you buy them a present or not. You know? But find what's true for you. This is not for us to dictate it to you. It's about, we just want to kind of give you some ideas of what may work, what may not work, and things just to consider. Because we don't necessarily have all the answers, but we've seen enough patterns. I've been doing this 27 years. Mark, you're at what, 19, 18 years?
17, 8, yeah.
Yeah, Stephen, you're at a decade,
yeah, so,
you know?
So, you know, you think about setting that foundation. Yeah. Just like, as I said earlier, when you think about setting that foundation, if you didn't do that for yourself this year, start the new year with that in mind. And what kind of money do you want to set aside for these things? And and then you're in a much lighter place, and you're not doing the emotional spending as much. And that's been our experience.
Well, and also find creative solutions. Let's just say you have $300 cash and that's all you've got, right? Then make your presents fit within $300 of cash. Like I remember when we were kids, Mark, one of the things that we did was we used to save the old oatmeal, the Quaker Oats oatmeal containers. And actually, I'm on the top of the stack, Mark's at the bottom, so he may not have this memory. It might be one of my memories. But we would take those containers and we would actually decorate them, and we'd make oatmeal raisin cookies from the oatmeal that was in them. You know, so we made all these good treats for everybody, and in these decorative containers that we as children, you know, designed. And then we gave those containers out for Christmas with a bow. I mean, that doesn't cost a lot, but it shows that that you care for somebody. But what you did is you did something that was loving for them, and you did something loving for yourself because you did it within the cash that you have. Like, we don't understand that it is not good self-love or self-care when you go outside of the cash that you have. Like, that is just penalizing yourself, and it's like pigeonholing you into more suffering patterns. That doesn't have to be reality, right? That we have to know that we are stepping in and choosing each part of this all along the way. Any other little tidbits for anybody during the holiday season popping into mind?
Well, you mentioned experiences, and certainly the money can pour out the door in that regard as well. You know, so your budget with regards to those things as well, and you know, it should be taken into account.
Yeah, it's really about choosing from an empowerment place where you want your cash to flow. Right?
Completely agree.
Yeah. Well, I hope this was helpful for you guys. We're going to continue over time to actually bring little nuggets like this that we see as planners, because if you need any help on a one-on-one basis, by all means, if you need help from a financial planner, just go to info@jmcwealth.com. And Mark, myself, or Steven are here to help you guys if you want to get in a better place from a financial perspective. And it doesn't matter how much or how little you have. We do this on a consulting basis for people that you just pay us for our time to help you on your journey. And we wish you guys all the best and have the best holiday season ever. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you joining me.
Welcome.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.